And good afternoon, and welcome to the latest edition of Lunchtime Learnings. I'm delighted to be joined today by Dafydd Hardy, who is the co-owner of Dafydd Hardy Estate Agents, which has only been going a mere 31 years, so not very long. So welcome this afternoon. Is the sun shining in Wales?
No, prynhawn da, diolch yn fawr, and it's absolutely throwing it down. So I'm here in my little bunker in the attic. And yeah, I'm cozy.
Well, welcome, and thanks very much for coming on. I'm really grateful. So tell us, you've had a very distinguished career. You're going to share loads of knowledge and wisdom, so I'm really looking forward to this one. How did you get into agency in the first place?
It was I think a lot of people, I started doing my A-levels and I got bored with it. I had an uncle who always wanted to be a rural estate surveyor, and he persuaded me to go for an interview at the age of 16. And I got a first job, £3 a week. I'm going back to 1967, 68, something like that. And yeah, then went to college in Sheffield after 2 years, having passed then it was Chartered Auctioneers and Estate Agents, and they merged with the RICS. So I'm a bit of a pretend chartered surveyor, really. But I went to Sheffield for 3 years, had a really good time there. Enjoyed myself too much. Probably got my finals on the 4th attempt, I think, because I was doing too much sport and other things that you do recreational. And then, yeah, I just went from there to Nottingham, Chesterfield. Got a job back in Wales and northwest Wales as an area estate surveyor for the Welsh Development Agency. And then 1982, I started on my own, joined another practice. We sold out to the Prue, and then Rees Rains took that over when the Prue pulled out. And then I started again on my own with Richard, who was my article pupil in 1982. So it came full circle, really. So Richard and I have been partners for 30 plus years now. Yeah, and we just got on, basically.
Fantastic. So obviously a lot's happened, a lot of change in those 31 years that you've been established. What have been the main changes that you have seen over the years? I think one thing that definitely hasn't changed is sales progression. But apart from that,
the conveyancing process is
yeah. Okay, well, maybe I'll ask you what we can learn from that and what can improve.
Yeah, funny enough, I was only talking to one of the negotiators and asked him, did he know what a hot box was? And he just looked at me stupidly. And but I think there was merit in those little hot boxes, but that can be interpreted as different things. But I think when we started in 1992, Richard had this bright idea of maybe doing a plan of the house and putting them on the sales particulars. And we got a little software package, floor plan 3D, something like that. And every property we did a floor plan on in 1992, 93. That's when we started doing them. And we were actually quoted in the, not that I follow the paper, but the Mail on Sunday, or the Daily Mail, I think, as being one of the most innovative estate agents for using this. And we used to put the floor plans in the newspapers in those days with the bullet points by the side of it. And that made us stand out, really. Yeah.
Okay, so I love that. So innovation, where did that come from? You know, you were way ahead of your game then.
Yeah, I think we've always been a company, Richard and I, we've always looked forward. We've always looked for the next new idea because, as you know, that you stand still, then you die, don't you? And so we've always been looking for those things that can make us a bit better communication-wise. We were upgrading our computers all the time. We were putting new software in. But the one thing that hasn't changed all the way through that is the people you employ, isn't it? And they really are the people who are the success of the company, really.
100%. And I just want to speak to you about a couple of the things that you say there. So again, you're always looking for new ideas. if you're happy to share, where do you go and find these ideas from? So I know you're a member of RAN. I know you're a member of Property Mark. I know you're a member of Property Academy as well.
Yeah.
All three organisations. So I'm sure you get loads of ideas from there. But where are you constantly looking for them?
I think I'm looking at other industries and how other industries are adopting software, different approaches to doing different things. Those industries, obviously, in the service sector, and learning from those really. And you're never too old to learn, are you? And I feel that I'm learning every day, still am. And whilst I'm not implementing it as much, I can share that with my staff and other directors. We've got a really good MD, Mike Tanner, who's very innovative and very switched on. And so it's doing that really, and just thinking outside the box and just saying, how would that be integrated into an estate agency world?
Fantastic. I love any particular out of the industry that you look at.
Any people in the industry, or the sort of
outside the industry?
Outside the industry, I'm always looking at the leisure sector, the catering sector, because that is very, very heavily influenced by customer service. My son has a pub stroke hotel, and I'm always criticising him, which really does annoy him. But I always think you can always do better. And it is one of those, you know. So I look at that leisure industry, and I look at the tourism sector again, especially here in Wales, where we're very heavily dependent on tourism. There's some great ideas here, great innovations, great apps that one can share. And obviously, you've got things like AI coming in now, haven't we, which are supposed to make the job better. But you still have to oversee that, don't you? It's not a instead of, it's an addition to service. I can remember when we brought out the sales particulars, and we decided, look, we'll give the client floor plans and we'll put bullet points in them and the tenure and everything like that. But let's drop the fact that we name all the PowerPoints in the lounge and where the TV point is and everything like that. And back at me, the clients just come back and say, "Where's our PowerPoints? You've not mentioned our radiator in the hall, etc." So we had to add that. So you can't do instead of. You've got to add it on as a service.
Good. So you chatted about AI. Is that something that you've already integrated into the agency?
We have in certain sections where we do descriptions of various villages and towns, which we share on our social media as where the amenities are. So we use it in that extent. We haven't really taken it into our sales particulars as such at the moment, because with the F key buttons on the computer, you can cut and paste and whatever on directions and so on and so forth. But I can see that there will be more use out of it, but I'm not sure which direction it will go in. And I think that, you know, innovation is great, but you have to measure what the consequences of it are, and that you have to follow it through in a way. So you have an idea and you want to do it, but you have to see, right, how is this going to affect the company? How is this going to affect the service? And in some instances, it may not be to the benefit of the client, and even though that you as an estate agent, every other estate agent thinks it's the thing to do, the client at the end of the day goes, "Do you know what? So what? It's not of use to me."
So you talked about people and people being key. So how do you attract key people into your business, and how do you manage to keep them?
Well, that's always difficult, isn't it? That's really difficult. How do we attract? We don't seem to have any problems attracting people into our business, which is a good thing. But what we have learned over the years is that not all people are suited to our business. And if they haven't got those basic characteristics of a certain level of intelligence, a certain level of work ethic, certainly passion. If they haven't got passion, then there's nothing driving them forward, because this, as you know, is not a 9-to-5 job, is it? And you can never make people, you can never train people to have those basic characteristics. And you know, as a trainer as well as anyone else, that, but they've either got it or they ain't got it. If they have those characteristics, then you can train them to become a very good estate agent. There's no doubt about that. But they have to have that commonality of work ethic, to me, and passion. I have three P's that I quote endlessly, and it's people, process, because you have to have the process enabled to do it, and the passion. And you've got to have that passion in this. And I still have it today. After all this time, I've been in this business about 55 years now, but I still have the passion to do it better than I did it yesterday.
Where's that come from, Dafydd?
I don't know. It's just, I have the same outlook as I have in my social life, and that's a very busy one. And I do various things. I'm president of the rugby club. I'm on the RAF Run committee. I'm a trustee with a local hospice here, as chair of the income generating committee. And I'm just that sort of person, I suppose. And I just love new ideas, new innovations. I love working with staff. I get so much of a buzz these days from seeing other people doing well, seeing my kids do well, and getting a real buzz. And I'm sure your three boys, how are they? Anyway, are they doing okay?
They're doing well. Yeah, they're all good kids. So, I'm very proud, and I know I was saying to them last night, actually, came back from training 18 agents yesterday, that and the conversations we were having, and I had an unsolicited message from Joel's just gone to do some work, some social media content, and I got a lovely message from the sales director just to say what an incredible job he's done in the 5-6 weeks that he's been there, which is absolutely fantastic. And you know what, Sam would be incredibly proud of all of them for what they're doing. Absolutely fantastic. So she brought them up incredibly well.
You get a real buzz from it, don't you? I certainly do. And how's his cooking? Which one's the cook?
I'm doing a lot of the cooking these days. I've started to do a bit more cooking, actually, but yeah, Joel's cooking is exceptional. It's really good. So enough about me. My audience doesn't want to hear about me. They want to learn from you. So good sidetracking there. Love it.
Yeah.
So look, you talked a lot there about all your local community work, which is fantastic that you do so much. And I also know you do a lot of mentoring as well. Thank you, because I know you're involved in Agents Together and you mentor people there. So what do you see the benefits and the reasons why, either one, to be a mentor, and two, people should be a mentee and get the benefit from it?
Yeah, I think being a mentor, I love being a mentor, and I do it not just for Agents Together, but I do it for Business Wales as well. So I come into contact with people in different lines of work. I worked on someone who had a garden nursery, for example, and they were brilliant. I worked with other people, and mentoring to me is being able to, it's not a you must do this or why don't you do it. It's a cajoling, isn't it? It's a suggesting. It's a very fine line between that mentoring and coaching. And it's the suggestions more than anything else. And the third person thing of, well, this person did it this way and they found that it worked, and therefore I think that it may work for you. And it's very rewarding, only from the fact that the thanks that you're given, and that they acknowledge that your imparting of your wisdom and knowledge has been beneficial to them, which allows them to move forward, really.
100%. So coming back on something you said earlier, implementation and accountability, and people taking action. So I hear a lot from people that they get very frustrated. They have all these fantastic ideas. They want to action them, but they struggle. And the one that frequent answer is, we don't have time. So how do you get people to take action and implement it? Because the very best agents in this business do. They make things happen. Even if it goes wrong, at least they try and implement it. So again, what suggestions, advice would you give to people about taking action and implementing?
Well, and I have to admit this, you know, I follow all you guys, yourselves, Julia Dell, you know, Property Academy, and Claire Yates and so on. But the one weakness that I personally have is the implementation, which is the key to it all, isn't it? Because you're just wasting resource if you don't implement it. But you have to be very selective on what you implement and what you don't implement, because it may not be right for your company and not right for the personnel. I think how you make people implement it is that, again, your people have got to buy into it. Because if they don't buy into it, and if they don't agree or they don't see the benefits of it, then it's a struggle. It's a total struggle. And I think that that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, is from the implementation side of it, that as you mentioned earlier, I'm in Property Academy, and we've got a cohort of about 11, 12 of the most fantastic agents in there, and we're all friends, and too friendly, to be honest. We have too much of a good time, and I know you do very similar things. But the sort of stuff that you get from those meetings is unbelievable. It's like golden nuggets, aren't they? And for every meeting, you're going to get one or two of them. And but the difficulty is asking people or trying to cajole them into implementing something which they don't quite understand or they don't quite agree with.
So how do you get that buy-in?
I think you've got to do it by example. You've got to show people what other companies are doing. And this is what's nice about the cohort that we have. They're willing to share their knowledge and what's worked for them, what's not worked for them. So that's a big buy-in in showing people, look, this company have done it. There's no reason why we can't do it. There are very similar companies to us. Then we should do it. And then it's to get that enthusiasm, isn't it? And it's got to be done from the top down. It can't come from anywhere else, really. And Relocation Agent Network is a case in point. That if it's not driven from the top, then no one else is going to implement it.
100%. And actually, thank you so much for your honesty, because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this or listening to it to think, yeah, everybody implements stuff and everybody takes action. And I think it's actually refreshing for somebody to say, you know what, I'm not good at it.
Yeah, that's why I delegate everything, Stephen. Yeah. If I implemented all the stuff that I've learned from yourself, from Peter Knight, whatever, my God, I'd be a multi-millionaire by now. But I think, it's a difficult call, the implementation part of it.
Thank you. So we've got Gareth Southgate, aka Richard Taylor, watching. So hi, Gareth. Thanks very much. A little hello to both of you. Thank you for the conversation. So thank you, Richard, Gareth, for joining in today. I hope you have a good game against Australia. I'm not sure Dafydd wishes you to have a good game against Australia, because I'm not sure who Wales are playing this week. So we will see.
We're playing in the finals, in the quarterfinals against rugby-wise Argentina.
Okay, I forgot. You don't like football. It's other ball you like. Anyway, you talked about 3 Ps. So people, process, and passion. So we've talked about people. We've talked about passion. Let's talk about process. So how do you constantly strive to improve your process?
Well, it's one of those, isn't it, that you start off with a process, and obviously your CMAs and everything, they will give you a certain process in your software. But the process is highlighted by the complaints or the negative comments that you get, because certain things haven't happened or have happened. And if you analyze those, then that will allow you then to improve your process by putting in that extra step in order to avoid the confrontation or whatever. And I think that that's how it is tweaked, I suppose, the process of it. Everyone has a basic process, but to me, it's the framework, isn't it? It's the framework on how we can do it. It's the framework of how every office should do. And it's then, what is the quality of the process then? And analyzing it after and saying, right, okay, yeah, this has worked or this hasn't worked, but what can we make to improve this process? And by that, you then come to improve your customer service, you come to improve your listings and so on and so forth, and your rental management, property management. And yeah, you can't do anything without process. Otherwise, it's a scattergun approach, isn't it? And we know what happens with that.
The market's very different and has changed, and I'm sure you've been and experienced different markets like this over your few years. What tips, advice can you give to people that, and actually you mentioned the word earlier, communication, and I'm having a lot of conversations with agents that are really struggling to have communication with their sellers, and having these fierce conversations. What advice can you give to people to help them, please?
I think, especially in this market, you've got to keep talking to your clients, and you've got to keep talking to them on a regular basis. And in order for that conversation to be an interesting conversation, you have to have good underpinning knowledge of what your industry is about. I'm constantly asking my staff to read outside of the agency world and look at the bigger picture, which is what we as the leaders should be doing anyway. But you try and ask your managers to do that as well. Obviously, they've got to concentrate on their office, but they have to look at the bigger picture, and that they have to communicate with their clients on a regular basis. And by the knowledge that they gain from learning from outside, they can impart that to the client. And it makes their client perhaps more comfortable with thinking, well, this person knows what they're talking about. And they're not just doing the same sort of drill every day, every week, telling me what's going on, what's not going on. So I think that's really important. And I think you've got to work hard. And, you know, the harder you work, the more luck you're going to get. And I can remember when we first started, you were working from 7 to 11 o'clock at night. You weren't taking any lunch or anything like that. You were doing networking and playing sports and so on and so forth. And I think that, you know, you've got to work hard. It's hard work, but it's so enjoyable as well at the same time. And this is where the passion comes in. And it's not like work, is it? It's just, it's part of your life, really. That's probably why I haven't retired, because, you know, at 70 I should be retiring, but I don't. And I just feel that, yeah, I can carry on for a couple more years, maybe. Yeah.
That's good. So you've talked a lot about various people that help you, and you're constantly learning, and every day for you is a learning day. Apart from the people that you've mentioned, is there anything, people that you recommend that should be following, books that should be read that have helped you?
I think I read a lot of autobiographies. Be a Man U supporter or not, I really enjoyed the leadership one with Alex Ferguson. And I think there's a lot of stuff that you can get from sport as you play your sort of, is it called walking football, is it?
Yes, jogging. I got 4 goals. Thank you.
Well done, well done. I thought I'd give you the in on that. And I think that you can learn a lot, can't you, from these guys. Semi Ballesteros was one of my heroes in how he conducted himself and what a brilliant golfer he was. And I go to the gym twice a week, and on the wall in the gym, there's some various words there, you know, things like stamina, endurance, speed, balance, flexibility, and all this sort of stuff, which is aligned to the work you do in the gym. But all those words can be allied to estate agency, because you have to have all those sort of different things in your sort of armory in order to be able to do that. And so people in sport have been a big influence. Red Gray, for example, again. And but the thing that what is common with all of them is they all have drive, don't they? They all have drive, that they all have this passion. They all want to do well. And surely we don't go into business just to be mediocre, do we? We go into business to really do well. You know, the guy who says, I just want a mediocre business and, you know, I'll just take over. Well, that guy is not going to, that person is not going to survive, are they? You have to keep driving it.
Well, you've been a fantastic guest. I'm incredibly grateful for your time. I love your passion. I love your energy. And there's no way you're retiring in 2 years. Well,
we'll see. Do you like the shirt? Do you like the shirt?
I love your shirt. I won't say I've seen it before, but you're looking good.
Stephen, it's been an absolute pleasure, and you are a great trainer.
That is very kind of you. I'm just going to stop it there and just play that last bit. Nothing else. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching, for listening. Please like it, share it, review it. Dafydd, if anybody wants to get hold of you, how do they find you?
They just got to go on social media. They'll find me everywhere. And yeah, just ring the office, and the office will give you my mobile number.
How cool you're going to say, find my shirt, and that's it. Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.
All the best, Stephen. Bye-bye. Who will?